Right now, someone in America just became a millionaire for the first time. And within 5 years, more than a third of them will be broke again. Not because the market crashed. Not because they got unlucky. Because three traps are built into the system specifically to take that money back, and nobody ever warns you about them. I pulled data from financial advisors and real accounts from people who lived through this exact moment, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do in the first week, the first month, and the first year after you cross 7 figures. Even if that moment feels far away right now, because it always comes faster than people expect. Here's the number everyone chases: $1 million. For decades, it's been sold as the finish line. Hit it, and you're set for life. But almost nobody who actually crosses that line for the first time feels the way they thought they would. Study after study on lottery winners, inheritance recipients, and startup employees who suddenly cashed out shows the same pattern. Within 3 to 5 years, a huge share of them are back where they started, or worse. That's not a coincidence. That's not bad luck. That's the predictable result of hitting a number you were never taught how to hold on to. Think about everything you were taught about money growing up. Get good grades. Get a job. Save what you can. Nobody ever sat you down and explained what happens psychologically and financially the moment a life-changing amount of money lands in your account. Schools don't teach it. Most parents don't know it themselves. And that gap is not an accident. It's profitable for a lot of people that you never learn it because the moment you get that money, an entire industry turns its attention toward you. And every part of it is optimized to get a piece of it before you understand what's happening. Picture a nurse in Ohio who spent 12 years putting money into her 401k every single paycheck, never touched it, never panicked during a downturn. One quiet Tuesday, she logs in and the balance reads $1,040,000. No fireworks. No phone call. Just a number on a screen. Within a week, her phone starts ringing with numbers she doesn't recognize. A cousin she hasn't spoken to in years asks for a loan. A financial advisor from a firm she's never heard of offers to manage her wealth personally. A friend mentions a real estate deal that's basically guaranteed. None of these people know her number for a fact. But they can see the pattern, because they've watched it happen to dozens of people just like her. It's not just people who save quietly for decades. A software engineer in Texas had stock options vest after his company went public, and overnight his account showed $1.2 million. He'd never had more than $8,000 saved in his life before that morning. Within 18 months, most of it was gone. Not stolen, not lost in a crash. Spent, lent, and invested away in dozens of decisions that each felt small at the time. He didn't tell this story publicly because he's proud of it. He tells it because he wishes someone had told him the 5 things you're about to hear before that stock vested, not after. This is trap number 1, and it's the one that gets the most people: lifestyle inflation dressed up as a reward. The moment you have real money, everything around you starts whispering that you've earned the right to spend like it. A slightly nicer car. A bigger house that makes sense now. Trips that used to feel irresponsible suddenly feel deserved. None of these decisions look reckless in isolation. That's exactly why they work. It's not one grand mistake that empties a millionaire's account. It's 40 small ones that each felt completely reasonable in the moment. Here's the re-hook you need to remember for the rest of this video. The system doesn't need you to make one bad decision. It needs you to make small, good-feeling decisions, over and over, until the number quietly shrinks back down to normal. And normal is where most industries built around money actually make the most from you. Trap number 2 is the one nobody talks about because it looks like help. The second your balance crosses 7 figures, you become a target for financial products that exist to generate fees, not returns. Whole life insurance policies pitched as investments. Annuities with surrender charges buried on page 40 of a contract nobody reads. Actively managed funds charging 1 to 2% a year to underperform a basic index fund that costs a tenth of that. A commission-based advisor isn't lying to you when he says he wants to help. He genuinely might. But his mortgage doesn't get paid based on how well your money performs over the next 20 years. It gets paid based on what he sells you this quarter. That's not a conspiracy. That's just how the incentive is built, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll notice this pattern the moment you start meeting with advisors. The ones pushing you toward the most complicated products are almost always the ones earning the biggest commission off your signature, and the ones recommending the boring, simple, low-cost option are usually the ones with nothing to gain except your long-term trust. Trap number 3 is the hardest one, because it doesn't come from strangers. It comes from people you love. Family and friends will start seeing you differently the second they learn what you have, not because they're bad people, because money changes what people believe is possible to ask for. A sibling needs help with a down payment. A parent's medical bill comes up right when you can finally cover it. A close friend wants you in on a business that just needs a little capital to get off the ground. Saying no to people you love feels like betrayal. Saying yes over and over is how a 7-figure number turns into a 6-figure number without a single bad investment ever being made. So that's how the money disappears. Small purchases, hidden fees, and people you love, all pulling from the same account without a single dramatic mistake ever happening. But this is where most videos on this topic stop, right after scaring you. We're not stopping there, because knowing the 3 traps means nothing if you don't know the 5 moves that actually keep the number growing instead of shrinking. So what actually works? Not theory. What financial professionals do with their own money, quietly, without posting about it. First, you do nothing for 90 days. No big purchases. No new investment accounts. No quitting your job. No telling extended family the exact number. This isn't caution for the sake of caution. It's because every decision you make in the emotional high of hitting that number is a worse decision than the one you'd make 3 months later with a clear head. Professionals call this the wait room, and it's the single biggest predictor of whether someone keeps their wealth or loses it within 5 years. Second, you find a fee-only fiduciary advisor, not a commission-based one. The difference sounds small. It isn't. A fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. A commission-based advisor is legally required to sell you something suitable, which is a much lower bar. You pay a flat fee or an hourly rate, you get advice that isn't tied to what they're selling, and you walk away if anyone tries to move you into a product before understanding your full situation first. Third, you automate the boring part before you touch a single dollar for lifestyle. A simple, low-cost, diversified portfolio, moved into on autopilot, untouched by emotion, is responsible for more real long-term wealth than every hot stock tip combined. The goal at this stage isn't to get rich. You already did that part. The goal is to not become the statistic that gave it all back. Fourth, you get an umbrella liability insurance policy before anyone outside your household even knows your net worth changed. This single, inexpensive step protects everything you built from a single lawsuit, a single accident, a single bad moment that has nothing to do with your investing skill and everything to do with the fact that people with money get sued more often, whether they did anything wrong or not. And fifth, you decide in advance, on paper, exactly how you'll respond when someone you love asks you for money. Not because you'll say no to everyone. Because deciding your limits before the emotional ask happens means you're not making a financial decision while looking someone you care about in the eye. Write down a number you're comfortable lending or giving each year, total, to anyone. When the ask comes, and it will come, you already know the answer instead of guessing in the moment. Here's what nobody tells you about the moment you cross 7 figures. It's not the finish line you were promised your whole life. It's the starting line of a completely different game, one with rules you were never taught. Played against people whose entire job is to make sure you never learn them. The nurse in Ohio who made it work didn't do anything flashy. She waited her 90 days. She found one advisor who charged her a flat fee and nothing else. She kept driving the same car for 3 more years. And a decade later, that $1 million had quietly become something much bigger. While people who spent the first 90 days saying yes to everyone were right back to zero. The system was never built to teach you this. It was built to profit from the fact that you don't know it yet. Now you do. Save this video, because the moment you cross that number yourself, you won't remember a single one of these 5 steps unless you come back to it first.